at it. Have you seen the pictures from the other side of the moon on television lately with the astronauts? They had some new pictures of Earth. You saw them? Yeah, they were.
I saw a video of the moon.
Yes, the view of Earth.
A person walking on the moon. I saw a video of that.
You did?
I saw a video of that too, and I also played Moon Simulator.
Okay, is that fun? Yeah. Well, we're going to look at this book called Blue Boat Home. And if you saw those pictures from the other side of the moon, from the astronauts, you could see how small and blue the Earth looks. This is a famous book for you folks. And it's a poem that's also a song. Though below me I feel no motion standing on these mountains and plains. See the mountains? See people and the cat on the mountain? Far away from the rolling ocean, still my dry land heart can say, I've been sailing all my life. Now, never harbor or port have I known. Haven't been home, except the wide universe is the ocean I travel. The whole universe. Look how big. And the earth is my blue boat home. So there's that blue boat. And that's where we all are. Let's see. Sun, my sail, and moon, my rudder, as I ply the starry sea. From the earth, we see the rest of the universe. Do you go out and see the stars at night and the moon?
Sometimes I try and find
Constellations, yeah. Do you know one of them?
The Big Dipper.
Great.
The Little Dipper.
Okay, great. Leaning over the edge and wonder, casting questions into the deep. And see, as they look in wonder, look who else is looking in wonder. All the little animals that are out at night, enjoying the sky. Drifting here with my ship's companions, all we kindred pilgrim souls. And take a good look at this. Look at all the people, all the critters, all the creatures of the sea and the land and the air. And where are all of us on that blue boat home? It's a little blue boat home. Making our way by the lights of the heavens. What lights do we see at night?
The stars.
We see the moon, we see the stars, and the lights in the Walmart shopping lot. In our beautiful blue boat home, and there we all are, and we're all happy, riding the blue boat. I give thanks to the waves upholding me, hail the great winds urging me on, greet the infinite sea before me. Everyone's happy, everyone is at peace. Sing the sky, my sailor's song. I was born upon the fathoms, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. That's our story. Thank you all very much. Enjoy the blue boat, and next week you tell us what Earth Day is, okay? Have a good day. Have a good class.
Please join in singing the children out. The words are in your order of service. Learn your lessons well, my children. Seek your truth in the wide unknown. Love each other, work together, and search for wisdom and happiness.
Thank you, George. That was a perfect Earth Day story. Thank you. Our opening words are by Annie Dillard. We are here to abet creation and to witness to it, to notice each thing so that each thing gets noticed. Together we notice not only each mountain shadow and each stone on the beach, but we notice each other's beautiful face and complex nature, so that creation need not play to an empty house.
Now it's time for what we call Candles of Community. So if you have a personal joy, sorrow, or concern to share from the pulpit, please email or text our administrator by noon on Friday, and you can also pick up a candle in the foyer just before the service. We'd like to also let everybody know that we do have an active caring committee whose members wear yellow name tags. I guess you're dead in the water if you're colorblind. You can't be a UU. We got green, we got yellow, and yellow is caring. And we have help available for those in need. If you have a candle, please come forward now to share your joy or concern.
Hello, I'm Ryan Kern. Respectfully, Pat, those of us who are colorblind are also welcome. So
I'm sorry.
Look, I'm in good company there with Bill. I'm not good at birthdays, remembering them or keeping them in mind, or even planning ahead. But my dear friend Renee reminded me that today is her birthday the other day. I added it to my calendar right away. And I thought, what better way to celebrate her than on this microphone by sharing with you that Renee is a very special friend of mine. I am a single gay man, okay? Not that kind of special friend. Where I'm from, when a man says he has a special friend, it means an unmarried lady friend. That's not our deal, okay? Renee and I sometimes talk on the phone on my way to work at about 7 in the morning, which means I talk on the phone at 7 in the morning, and Renee listens and sometimes laughs. Really, we were fast friends, and thankfully because of this place. So that's why it's very appropriate that I share this with you all, with her, that I love her. And I hope while I'm singing this, you'll join me in a happy birthday for Renee, okay? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Renee.
Happy birthday to you.
Oh, thank you, everyone, for making my day so much brighter. I appreciate that. I did want to come on my birthday, and I want to say that this is a significant birthday for me. Some of you know that I suffer from major depression, and sometimes it gets the better of me. Fair warning, this is dark thoughts, and I hope that it doesn't affect anyone too badly, but I suffer from suicidal ideation almost on a daily basis. And some days it's too hard with pain, financial stress, the world in crisis, and it's very tough. So I made it past my 40th birthday, which was one of my benchmarks that I planned on leaving this world. And then after 40, things got a little better, or close to 40, they got better. So I was like, surely I can do this a little while longer. And a few years ago, it got tough again. And when it's dark is when it hits me that if I find a milestone, if I make it there, then I'm done and I'm good. And 45 was one of those milestones. So as long as I make it past midnight tonight, I'm doing good. So I expect to see everyone here next Sunday. And so it is a big milestone for me that at this point in my life, I am happier and feel more surrounded by supportive people. And I have, my best friends, and it has become worthy of a life worth living. And so this is a joy. Of course, it's a concern because I still deal with depression every day. My birthday doesn't make it go away like, it's some fairy tale sort of, once you make it to 45, your mental healthness goes away. I don't think it's like that. But I am happy to celebrate it with you. And if anybody else is suffering from the same thing, make it to 45 or 85 or 105. It's a life worth living. Thanks, guys.
Hey, good morning. I'm Bud Ashley, and I have a candle of joy and a candle of concern. The joy is, of course, that Katie's with us for a few days before she heads off to Kansas to be with our great-grandson, and that makes us happy. But I want to throw some numbers at you again, because you know that. I got 15, I got 1, and I got 0, and I'm going to rat some companies out. If you paid at least $1 in federal taxes this year, you paid more in taxes than Walt Disney, Citigroup, CVS, Kohl's, Ticketmaster, Tesla, United Airlines, GoDaddy, PayPal, Palantir, HP, 3M, PG&E, and Halliburton. So I paid 0 taxes this year. I'm kind of boycotting. And I would like to see all the working class people in the United States do that because I think it might affect the way our federal government thinks about all the poor people.
Good morning. My name is Brent Cagle, and my husband Randy and I just joined last Sunday, and Randy went to memory care on Tuesday. So this has been a really calming place for us the past several months we've attended, but if you could hold us in your hearts, I'd really appreciate it.
And finally, we light one last candle for those unspoken joys and concerns. Now it's time for us to share our abundance. And this congregation proudly participates in our Michael Sullivan Share the Plate initiative, where half of our monthly cash collection is donated to a local charity. It's our way of giving back to the community. And this month's recipient is MIRCI, which is the Mental Illness Recovery Center, Inc. If you'd like to contribute to Share the Plate, please write Share the Plate in the memo line on your check or on your donation envelope. Thank you for your generosity.
This morning's offertory musical selection is a composition composed for Earth Day by Kevin McKinney called For the Beauty. And today in our Earth Day service, as we reflect on the magnificent beauty of this earth we all share, and also lament those who aim for its destruction, whether led by greed or misinformation, we can hear that dichotomy reflected in this music. I'm going to begin by playing the hymn For the Beauty of the Earth, followed by Kevin McKinney's For the Beauty.
Would the ushers please come forward? We sincerely appreciate these gifts, which reflect the kindness and generosity of this community. Thank you. Neal.
Today's sermon is, of course, given in honor of Earth Day, which is this coming Wednesday. Now, I know that you're well informed, otherwise you wouldn't be Unitarians. But I wonder if you're aware of the Arctic Report Card, a major federal assessment of climate change released a few years ago before the Trump administration. It found that the Arctic is undergoing a profound, rapid, and unmitigated shift into a new climate state, one that's warmer, features far less ice, is a net source of greenhouse gas emissions from melting permafrost. Now, permafrost is a carbon-rich frozen soil that covers a quarter of the northern hemisphere landmass, encompassing vast stretches of Alaska, Canada, Siberia, and Greenland. Warming temperatures melt the permafrost, releasing between 1 and 2 billion tons of carbon into the atmosphere per year. Now, the consequences of this massive discharge of greenhouse gases are felt far beyond the Arctic in the form of warmer temperatures, altered weather patterns, more frequent and severe hurricanes and tornadoes, more wildfires, more extinct species of plants and animals, and rising sea levels. How do these facts make you feel? I don't know about you, but they make me feel anxious, helpless, sometimes hopeless. Scientists have been issuing these kinds of warnings for decades now. They've been telling us in uncertain terms that we are affecting our climate and ecosystems in ways that are detrimental to life on this planet. We know that we need to change how we act as a species. We should have changed a long time ago, yet we've not. In fact, we may soon be reaching a tipping point where we cannot halt the climate change that is bringing about the coming apocalypse, if we haven't already reached that tipping point. For decades, scientists have been making predictions that should frighten us all into behaving differently, yet the necessary changes have not come. It seems that simply presenting information is not enough, even though they may be based on solid scientific fact. It's just not working. Now, this may surprise you to hear this, but this situation reminds me of my Southern Baptist upbringing, in which the preachers of my childhood tried to save us by scaring the hell out of us, literally. They hoped to turn us toward heaven by focusing on the burning fires and eternal torment of hell. Now, these scare tactics reached a fever pitch during Revival Week, which always featured a regional hellfire and brimstone evangelist, and which always were held during the searing heat of summer, back before the days of air conditioning, as if to provide a foretaste of things to come. I can still hear the pleading voices of those revival preachers. Oh, brothers and sisters, don't leave this service tonight without turning your life over to Jesus Christ. This could be your last chance for salvation, for we are not promised tomorrow. On the way home this very night, you could be in a fatal car accident, and just that quick, you could find yourself in the pit of hell, burning for eternity in a fire that never consumes and is never extinguished. You can beg and plead for mercy all you want, but the devil will just laugh in your face. Eternity is a long time, brothers and sisters. Do you really want to trade one brief moment for eternity? Now is the time for decision while you still have time. The choice is yours, brothers and sisters. You can turn or you can burn. It still resonates with me. Now, I wish I had known about the Universalist back then. You may remember in our Unitarian Universalist heritage that the Universalists preached universal salvation. They could not conceive, and frankly, I can't either, they could not conceive how a loving God could condemn anyone to eternal torment. Rather than trying to scare people into heaven with warnings of hell, the Universalists try to entice people into heaven with promises of love. They preach that God's love would eventually win over each and every soul, if not in this life, then in the life to come. It seems to me that our approach to climate change resembles the preaching of those hellfire and brimstone evangelists of my childhood. Climate change scientists and activists preach that if we don't stop sinning against the earth with our overconsumption of fossil fuels, we will meet a hellish future. Though their warnings of that future may be based on solid scientific fact, these warnings are also based on fear. Our approach to climate change is that if we can scare people with the facts, surely they will change. Yet, fear is not always an effective motivator. President Franklin Roosevelt understood this, which is why in his first inaugural address to a nation paralyzed by an economic depression, he challenged our nation with these words: "Let me assert my firm belief that the only thing we have to fear is fear itself, nameless, unreasoning, unjustified terror, which paralyzes our needed efforts to convert retreat into advance." FDR understood that fear is not always an effective motivator. It can create paralysis by feeding a kind of despair that says, well, I can't do anything about it anyway, so I'll just keep on as I am. Since doom is inevitable, the seas will rise and the earth will turn to desert. What's the point of trying to stop it? Fear did not motivate the members of my childhood church or my hometown to stop their sinning against God. And I doubt that fear will motivate any of us today to stop our sinning against the earth. I think the Universalists were right, that love is the most effective agent of change. Your love for your spouse will make you strive to be the best husband or wife you can be. Your love for your child will inspire you to be the best parent you can be. Your love for your friend will move you to be the best companion you can be. Your love for your community will impel you to be the best neighbor you can be. Your love for your country will persuade you to be the best citizen you can be. And your love for the earth will prompt you to protect and preserve it. Are the blessings and beauty of this world only worth redeeming because we should be afraid of some hellish future? Is our planetary home itself not good and valuable and therefore worth saving? How do we nurture our love for this earth? You may be surprised to hear me say that I think a love for the earth must begin with a love for ourselves. Now, I don't mean that kind of self-centeredness which sees oneself as a separate, individualistic entity. That's ego. That's the kind of self that's encouraged by our consumeristic culture, which sets us against each other, to compete with each other, and compare ourselves with each other with regards to our material possessions, our careers, our success, our appearance, and our status. This consumer ethic of chasing after personal advantage, that creates a small definition of self. There are many different ways of viewing the self. The concept of a separate self, a discrete entity separate from other people in the world, that's only one way. But there is a larger and deeper sense of self when we realize the widening circles of belonging. Now, when you're young, we typically feel independent and free to follow our own desires, but we can also feel lonely and lack a meaningful sense of purpose. Getting married enlarges our sense of self to include the desires, feelings, and aspirations of a life partner. Having children enlarges our sense of self to include a family, the next generation, and a future that will outlive us. Having friends enlarges our sense of self to include the joys and disappointments of others who are similar to and also different from us. Working with colleagues in an office enlarges our sense of self to include a shared goal. Getting involved in our community and feeling patriotic enlarges our sense of self to include a national identity. Now, I know it's hard to find much good to say about the COVID pandemic of a few years ago that isolated us from each other, disrupted our plans and routines, and shut down our economy. But one silver lining I see around that cloud is that it enlarged our sense of self. We saw more clearly as a nation than we have probably since the Second World War that we are all in this together. That you and I together were vulnerable to that virus, and that you and I together could flatten the curve by making sacrifices together. Just when it seemed we could not be more politically polarized into separate tribes, that virus actually brought us together in a national unity of vulnerability and sacrifice for the well-being of the country. This larger sense of self that extends to wider and wider circles of belonging is, I think, the essence of spirituality, because it calls us to a purpose greater than self. It transforms selfishness into selflessness. It pulls us out of our preoccupation with self into a larger, more meaningful experience of life. Indeed, what we value most in life is experienced in and through these widening circles of connection. Think about it. Love, friendship, family, community, loyalty, trust, friendship, belonging, gratitude, purpose, meaning, and spirituality. All those values come from our sense of connection with others. And the widest circle of belonging, our largest and deepest sense of self, occurs when we recognize our kinship with the earth, when we realize that the earth is a living, breathing organism which has given birth to humanity. And we might call this identity our ecological selves, in which we recognize that our lives are part of a much, much larger expression of life that began 3.5 billion years ago and will continue long after we are gone. We come from an unbroken lineage that has survived 5 mass extinctions. Indigenous people here and around the world have always known that the life which flows from the earth flows through you and me. Or in the words of Chief Seattle, the earth does not belong to us. We belong to the earth. This we know. All things are connected, like blood which unites a family. All things are connected. Whatever befalls the earth befalls the sons and daughters of the earth. We did not weave the web of life. We are merely a strand in it. Whatever we do to the web, we do to ourselves. Haven't you experienced special moments when you felt your connection to the natural world? Perhaps you were enthralled by a glimpse of remarkable beauty that took your breath away. I experienced such a moment when I stood on the rim of the Grand Canyon. And I've experienced such moments witnessing a golden sunset or a full moon lighting the night sky as if it were day. I felt my kinship with nature on walks in the woods, when all the varieties of life around me reminded me that the life force which surges through the flora and fauna, through insects and wildlife, surges also through me. Many of us would describe such moments as spiritual experiences. If we can claim our identity as ecological selves, if we can recognize that our dignity and worth as human beings include the dignity and worth of our earth, we will not have to be scared into respecting and protecting and preserving the natural world. Because when you love something, you can't stop yourself from respecting and protecting and preserving it. Let each of us do our small part to change our behaviors, our lifestyles, and our national policies in order to halt climate change. Not out of fear of some hellish future, but out of love of something that is good and valuable and sacred, and therefore worth saving. Amen.
Our closing hymn is number 1064, Blue Boat Home, the song that goes with our story for the children of all ages today. It's in your teal hymnal. I invite you to rise in body or spirit to join in singing.
Lord.
Sun, my sail, and moon, my rudder, as I ply the starry sea, leaning over the edge in wonder, casting questions into the deep, drifting here with my ship's companions, all we kindred pilgrim souls, making our way by the lights of the heavens in our beautiful blue boat home. I give thanks to the waves upholding me, hail the great winds urging me on, greet the infinite sea before me, sing the sky my sailor's song. I was born upon the fathoms, never harbor or port have I known. Wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home.
Our closing words are by Mary Oliver. You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about despair, yours, and I will tell you mine. Meanwhile, the earth goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of the rain are moving across the landscape, over the prairies and deep trees, the mountains and the rivers. Meanwhile, the wild geese, high in the clear blue sky, are heading home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination, calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over announcing your place in the family of things. Amen.
As we extinguish our chalice today, may this light gently warm your heart and guide our steps until we meet again.
I invite you to join in singing our congregational benediction.
Thank you. If you'll please be seated for just a moment. We have 3 announcements today. Number 1, this is part 2 of us responding to the anti-trans movement. and it was originally scheduled for today, but it's been postponed. Is that correct? Okay. Yeah. A new date will be announced later. Second, we have a special board announcement today, so please listen. This is number 2. You may have noticed a poster in the CYR wing labeled Spectrum of Risk. If not, please take a look this morning when you leave, and you'll find it on the wall past the women's room, next to the administrator's office. It's important because UUCC is responding to the darkness of these days of renewed discrimination and repression. And as we continue to respond, it's important to be clear with one another about how much risk we're willing to accept when we're witnessing these threats. The board will be asking you to weigh in starting next week, and we'll have materials and instructions then. But in the meantime, take a look at the poster that represents the leaders at the UUCC who've already been considering these things. And ask yourself, what should the UUCC be willing to do? Okay, this is our third one. And it's a special announcement. Nancy and Emilio are going to come up and entertain you as always.
Well, we wanted to do this with the community candles, but Nancy was in the back with the kids, so we just had to do it now. We want to announce some news for Miss Joy that I've been offered a job in Spain.
And our sorrow, I sure am gonna miss him. No, I'm teasing. That was my friend Alan's joke. No, we'll be going together. The harsh reality is indeed that we'll be moving in December, mid-December. Indeed, it's Emilio's turn to be with his family after all these years. We've been here 16 years. As Neal says, and Mary Oliver, life will go on. The mountains will continue to be their magnificent selves. The rivers will meander and the pebbles will flow along. But you all are in our hearts, and we are part of your family, whether you like it or not. So we'll be streaming you all. Behave. And but truly, we will never, I can't imagine us ever finding a community like this. And Emilio says?
Yeah, I obviously echo that. This is a great community. We feel very welcome. We feel very safe. And we're going to miss that a lot. Now, the job in Spain, I did several interviews, and I ended up choosing one right in Valencia, where I'm from. I did another interview in a hospital. It was kind of a new hospital. I don't remember the name now, but started with a T and had golden letters. And the CEO kind of was weird. You know, he was dressed like Jesus, but he said he was a doctor. I said, I don't think I'm going to work in this hospital. So anyway, I had to throw a joke in there. But you know, we'll be leaving at the end of the year. We'll be here for a while. We're gonna sell our house. We're gonna try to declutter and all that stuff. We may need a place to stay if somebody knows of somebody that can rent for a few months, because we don't know exactly when the sale of the house is going to happen. So, but we hold you in our hearts, and we will miss you when we're gone. So.
We love you too.
I'm very sorry, but that was not entertaining. I don't know what to say. You know, you're not allowed to go. We're going to hold you for ransom. Oh, I don't know if I can get over that. Anyway, thank you very much for all of your attention. And our time's come together, has come to an end today. So please take a few minutes to say hello to the visitors when you leave. And now's an appropriate time to say, go in peace.
Go in peace.